Marissa M. Skow here again to do another short vlog about writing. This one has to do with young adult fiction. As you all know, my published book, Pixie Plane of Existence, is young adult fiction. And I think one of the things that doesn't get touched on enough as a topic when we're talking about fantasy and all of the fun things that goes along with that is the very human part of the story. And I think the Pixie Plane of Existence does a good job of bringing in the teenage drama, how everything is such a big deal, you know, when you're 14. Sneaking out of the house to go up to the woods feels like something that would be risky, and it is risky, but it's also fun, and it's what makes life worth living. And then of course there's the rebellious side to that, you know, with Jenna and her smoking. I didn't want to really promote that too much, but I did want to talk about it because it's a reality, you know, that age where you're just out experimenting. You kind of don't really know where you fit in. You get influenced by people. And I think with Jenna's character, she's just pissed off at the world, and so she uses a few coping mechanisms to kind of deal with that. You know, she's got a twin brother who's very popular, and she's sort of like, you know, the gothy outcast who doesn't have a whole lot going for her. Like, she loves photography and punk bands and that kind of thing, but she's quiet and she doesn't fit in with the rest of the people who are just, you know, desperately trying to hang out with the jocks all the time. And, you know, before she meets Kat, Winnie is really the only other person that's kind of cast out. And this is a really small town, so the cliques have to be very tight and hard to break into. And, you know, so I kind of touched on the teenage drama with them. And then especially with girls, especially when there's three friends, there's always that dynamic of, you know, one friend bouncing back and forth in between the two. You know, new friendships come and old friendships are threatened. And that's just part of teenage drama and life. And you outgrow friends and you find new ones. So I really tried to display that in the Pixie Plane of Existence, all the drama that happens, you know, the friction with boys is just starting with Kat. We get the feeling that Jenna's had a little bit more experience in that department, and Winnie is just kind of naive and has had this crush on Jet forever, and that's all she's ever wanted. And so she decided to go after it when she got a little taste of power. And I think that speaks to how sometimes when people, you know, get a little taste of what they want, they just want more and more and more, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And then, you know, they want more and more, and then they start compromising, you know, their values and their morals. And so that is one of the dilemmas. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good angle here. The sun's like in my eyes. What was I saying? So yeah, I really tried to bring in the moral dilemmas that a lot of teens face, and I wasn't quite sure how jaded today's youth are. I think they're probably less so than we were in the 90s. But in the next book, The Matron Transformation, we're going to be seeing the girls having to mature pretty quickly, and also maybe needing their mothers a little bit more. In the last novel, they kind of shut their moms out. You know, one mom was going through her own health problems, and then with Kat, in her case, she's trying to separate a little bit and become a little independent. So all of that happens between moms and daughters, I think. And so I really tried to talk about that a little bit because it's setting up for the matron transformation, which is going to include the mothers a little bit more, and also see the girls maturing and having to deal with some grown-up situations. So I hope you enjoy my little discussion about teenage drama and why I included it in the novel in addition to the fantasy characters. And I really like to see that in young adult fiction. I think people are always drawn to those classics like Catcher in the Rye and The Outsiders because those themes resonate. You know, you and I remember what it was like. Everything's such a big deal, and once you start experiencing things, they become less of a big deal. And I think we forget that for teens everything is new, and so they probably feel things deeper than we do now. And so that was a good reminder to me when I was writing the book. I was like, oh, I remember that feeling. I remember how it felt to have your first crush, and I remember how it felt to be unsure about a guy friend, whether you liked them as more than a friend or not. So yeah, thank you for letting me talk about teenage drama and why I included it, and I appreciate always being able to talk about my books and nerd out with you guys. Bye. See you next vlog.